Hey, what's going on, everybody? Bobby Fi here. Just going to be talking through the end of this slate before lock right now. Obviously, there's always still going to be potential news later today, and I'm just double checking that I didn't miss anything recently. I'm a little surprised, for my exposures that I'm not getting even more of Cleveland. I guess that's the one thing I noticed that from my builds earlier. Um, but that's sort of the main thing, and, things are a little weird over out here. It feels, like, very strange and just sad to see what everyone's losing and everything, so I feel strange just coming and talking about DFS and not at least mentioning it, but hopefully everybody's taking care of themselves in LA and are safe as they can be, and yeah, it's pretty much all I can say, but with that said, I'll get into this slate, like, sort of where I'm at. I'm only playing 11 lineups on DraftKings. I don't think that I'm going to end up necessarily with that much as much Trace Jackson Davis as I have right now, because I might make a few little tweaks before when we get off. But it certainly makes sense on its face, right? Like, we've seen the way that it's been happening for him. The ownership is low enough. He's put up 30 or more in, well, 3 out of the last 6, but he had that one weird game against Sacramento. And I worry about it, though, because we do see them sometimes try different things with their lineups, and they haven't been playing well. So wouldn't surprise me if they did something a little bit different today, just throwing me off just enough to try to figure it out. And obviously, we'll keep an eye out for starting lineups if they want to do anything like that. But that is one that I was sort of not expecting to necessarily have 100% of. Although, again, only playing 11 lineups over here. The BAM thing, I like the BAM play quite a bit. I don't know that I necessarily need to have it quite as much as I do, and I might shift some of the ownership from that side over to Tyler Hero, because I think that's like a play that's getting a little bit overlooked tonight, and I just like this matchup for him. So, oops, let me just do this. Just make sure I get a little bit of Hero, and I'll rerun things as we get a little bit closer to lock and talk through that stuff. But this is sort of what I ended up with. Buddy Hield, hard to deny the value with the current role. Obviously, very heavy on the Golden State side of things today. Would love a run back from Detroit, just because of that. Tobias Harris is the one I'm getting the most of right now. But I may, again go in and decide, okay, I'm going to take some shots on Asar Thompson. I may decide to take some shots on Cade Cunningham. And I think that they're both very reasonable. So I'm actually going to put Asar and Cade in there. Just make sure I get a little bit of them. All right, we'll go back to it. And, again, it makes sense with the Golden State being shorthanded and everybody. Again, I love the Schroeder play. I was actually going to manually program this in, but the site did it for me. And I'm very, very content to be getting a good amount of Schroeder. Amen Thompson will probably end up in my main builds, but I'm happy to be overweight that. I love him in this type of matchup, fast pace. The other guy I was thinking about, going out of my way to try to get some of was Ja Morant. There's just so many questionables in that game. It's kind of hard to know what to do exactly. Partly what I don't love about getting to all these Warriors early is if you get multiples of these guys out, it's a little hairy. And basically in the spread, I actually feel like somebody's going to be out. It's really going to be hard to talk me off of the jaw. It's just, again, you worry about the minutes. These guys are all playing under 30 minutes, and it feels sort of hedgy a little bit the way the projections are. So going to have to rerun things in a little bit, but that's where I'm at as of this moment. Let me know if there's anything you guys have seen come up in the last few minutes. How many Trailblazers and Mavs am I taking? TJ asks. I'm going to jump into that real quick. I am getting to 0 of the Trail. Why would I be playing the Trailblazers here? I don't see any reason to play any. And the Mavs, I got to a little bit of Najee and a little bit of PJ Washington, but definitely below the field. You could make a case this could be the kind of game that Jaden Hardy has a big game and he's going to have 0 ownership. I don't mind that as a gamble. Yeah, for what it's worth, I think that's actually not the worst idea in the world, but that's really not sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. It's really not a game that I'm overwhelmingly targeting. I did get to some Derek Lively on FanDuel, and I actually think that that's a reasonable play. So I'm going to go ahead and bump Lively into just make sure I get some of them when I rebuild in a little bit. I'll move over to FanDuel and talk over there. Feel free to drop in questions. Do I think the Warriors keep it close? Is that a serious question or not? I feel like that's a trolley question. The Warriors are favorites in this game. I'm not really sure why the Warriors wouldn't be able to keep it close in Detroit on the back-to-back for Detroit. I know they haven't played well recently, but I don't think we need to give Detroit that much respect. Things are pretty grim in general, as I mentioned, but at least I got off to a hot golf start today. So that at least felt good. All right, let's see real quick to make sure I'm not getting anything different. Sam Merrill available to play. That's not anything revolutionary. And yeah, I'll rerun things in a little bit for DraftKings, but we'll move over to FanDuel and talk about that. And like I said, these shows might be a little bit quicker this week. We're sort of on edge all the time out here, and there's just friends and stuff who need help and trying to go do that, and going to try to go deliver stuff to the firemen later today. Shout out to the firemen, like just for doing everything they can. It's just a horrible, and it feels at the moment like an impossible situation. Fortunately, the winds have died down, and hopefully we can keep going in that direction because it's been brutal, man. Again, don't need to get 100% of Trace Jackson Davis. I am going to limit. Let's do this, and I'm going to cap that number again. Only playing 10 lineups over here. I'm still going to cap it at 65 just to lower my exposure somewhat. Hard to argue against the Buddy Hield thing. Again, getting a ton of BAM. SaberSim loves BAM today. Pretty much mostly with the chalk. Again, head on Ty Jerome. I think that is actually an interesting play. I didn't mention it on DraftKings, but I think it is an interesting play. I'm trying to figure out what to do with Cleveland in general on this back-to-back. And I think Ty Jerome could play blowout run, and he could get enough run in regular time as well. So I do like getting over the field on that play. But you can see I'm a little chalkier than usual tonight, not because I'm not playing a ton of lineups, and maybe without as many huge takes. And that may not be the worst thing in the world for me. I think that I've sometimes done myself some damage by having very, very strong takes, and I've also done a lot of good doing that in the past. So it's kind of tricky, but yeah, I didn't have things that stood out, and I couldn't figure out whether my brain wasn't working because of all this other stuff that's going on, or if I just didn't love that many contrarian plays tonight. And yeah, so that's sort of where I'm at right now as far as the slate goes. The Dinwiddie thing on FanDuel is one that I probably am going to actually have to force in. And if I put like a 10 on it, I think we're going to end up with a decent amount of it. Cole Anthony is an interesting conversation because he's going to be so popular, and he's going to be more popular on DraftKings, obviously, because he's pretty expensive on FanDuel. And he's getting all the usage. It makes sense on its face, but we've seen this play bust before. So maybe to have as much Cole Anthony as some of the Sims want to give you, maybe that's a play you could go ahead and be underweight on just based on the wide range of outcomes. Currently, I'm ahead of the field, but I'm going to rerun things and put a little slant on a few things that I like a little bit later. This Karis LeVert play, I don't know why I didn't get to more of this. So that's another one that I'm going to manually go, and we're going to do that. It seems like on a back-to-back, this is the right kind of a game to take him. Lindy Waters is a pivot off of the other value in Golden State, but you can see there's just so much from Golden State. It's hard to get off of it entirely. They lost by 19. That doesn't mean anything to me. If you, TJ, I don't think you're a victim of a really dangerous path, which is focusing on one game and then going immediately as if the same thing is going to happen. It's just really not the way that the NBA or the sports world works. It's too small a sample size, and because they lost a game to Miami, does that mean I think they're going to get blown out in Detroit? No. Could they? Sure. It's a game with a range of outcomes. I'll go out on a limb, and I actually like them to win tonight, but I don't think that, I don't have an extremely strong take on it. The ownership on the Cavs, and again, I feel sometimes like I don't want to give everything away all the way up to lock. I want to sort of like people to use the products and buy the products. So I don't think we're going to be doing that stuff in general as much tonight because it's a little limited. You can see here where the SaberSim has the ownership on the Cavs, and it's pretty balancedly high across the board. If you wanted to get creative, I think you could play George Niang as a totally contrarian play. Hope he makes 4 or 5 threes. That's a possibility if you wanted to get creative while playing the Cavs. The other one is Sam Merrill. I think is being too low in his projection, but it doesn't really. We're talking about a couple points, and I still don't think I'd be getting to him. So just be careful a little bit with the game log watching too much, because you want to be caught up on recent trends, but not a 1-game sample size for why can a team keep it close. That's just not the way that I approach things, and I think it's dangerous to do that in general. So how is everybody else doing? Anybody else haven't got any golf lineups? I do want to encourage people to use this product. I think if you're not using late swap on SaberSim or whatever builder you're using, I think you're making a mistake. And I just think it's so valuable in terms of knowing what the ownership already is existing. And tonight I'm letting them do most of my work. You see, I put a few numbers on a few players, but overall, I kind of like the idea of using these sims for what they're made for. And we also have Sheets and Goldie's projections. We don't have Sheets today. He's going to have he's sort of in and out this week a little bit, but we do have Goldie's, and it's a way you can use SaberSim with still getting different. The problem is it's hard for it to update quite as fast as SaberSim does. So when you get into a sport like NBA, maybe not as valuable as it would be for golf, for baseball, for basketball, for football, for all the other sports, because it is really hard to keep up with all of the changes that all the time. Anyway, all right. What else do we got in here, guys? Drop in any questions and thoughts. Please also click the like button. We do appreciate again doing these videos and everything. I'm probably going to get out of here if we don't have many more questions in the next few minutes, because there's a ton that we're waiting on, but it's probably not going to happen till after lock, and I can adjust and help anybody out in Discord with that once we have it. So that's sort of where I am as far as that's concerned. Anything else, guys, that we want to do? Let's see. I put a few different changes. Let's update this, and then let's rebuild and see if we get anything different from where we're at right now. I think it'll be just a couple things that'll be a little bit different. And I like Cole Anthony a lot better on DraftKings than FanDuel, but I still feel like maybe we've gone a little bit. I think we're just at high ownership. It's just in general high variance plays. I mentioned it with Sexton the other night. Almost looked like a genius until he scored like 10 in the last, 2 minutes of that game. But that's the kind of thing that I just feel like with the wide range of outcome guys, and Cole Anthony, though, in this new role maybe isn't as wide range of an outcome guy, but we did just see him with even in the same role where he busted. So I wouldn't hate getting underweight that if I was playing 150, maybe not underweight the field, even just under the 58% or whatever that is that I've got right now. Do I like Lowry? I think he's fine. Yeah, I'm getting to a good amount of him. This is another one of those plays that again, I usually I don't love playing the heavy Utah chalk in general. Right now, I'm getting to a ton of it. I'm probably going to go in and make sure I have more Amen Thompson than I do Lowry Markkanen. So let's cap Lowry at 50. And it will still probably get less than that. And then let's go to make sure we have Amen. I like Amen better than him. I'm getting 100% of Amen, so it's going to be hard to ignore that. All right, we'll just do this minimum of 50. And then I'm going to rebuild and then run the sims again and see where we're at. Build lineups. Okay. When you're making Saturday NFL, I don't know, man. Look, there's a lot going on here. I'm not making any promises about any videos right now. I might have to be evacuated again tonight. We're likely to lose power. We're already losing water, so we've got to get all the bottled water out there. It's rough out here. It's not a picnic. So I'm not. Whatever I do on Saturday, I'll build on. I'll do probably Saturday the day of, and I don't know where I'll be, but that's just the reality of life in LA right now. Anyway, but I did post my golf stuff, so hopefully that helps some people, because I did get off to a pretty nice start in the golf streets, and obviously a long ways to get to. It's day one, but when you have like highest exposed guys or a lot of them at the very top, it feels pretty good, and it's certainly a nice start. So hopefully we can keep moving in the right direction over there. And I will post my updated exposures once I'm done with all my builds on our Discord. And that's pretty much all I have for you guys tonight. I don't again, like I said, I'm not playing much. Happy to help out if there's any questions or thoughts, but we can also answer them in Discord anytime things come up. And I'm going to probably put a little bit of different tweaks, but I don't think my ownership is going to be all that different from what you're seeing right now. And as you can see, I'm down. Well, how did it get? It only went down to that of Lowry. That's on FanDuel. And I do like Lowry a little bit better on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings for what it's worth. Just my take. And I like Lowry in general much better at home. So this does seem like a spot where I don't mind eating a little bit of the Lowry chalk. Hey man, appreciate that cost a lot. I really do. Thanks very much for that. It's for those of you guys who've been watching the news, I mean, you've seen it's just freaking brutal. I want to see the press conference that's going on right now. So I'm going to actually pause it and tape it, because I do want an update of what we can sort of expect going into the weekend. Kids got trips down to Palm Springs planned. That makes me nervous. So I'm going to try to catch up a little bit on the news and make sure we're not doing something irresponsible by letting him go on a little trip while these fires are going on. And if it is, I will make sure he does not go, even though he's 18 and can legally do what he wants. I appreciate you all very much. I'll see everybody in the Discord. Good luck tonight, and go get them.